Samad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se Gaur Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giridharadhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय. All glories to the Assembly Lord. All glories to the Assembly. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Today's morning class will be Canto 6, Chapter 2, Verse 7, Vrindavan, September 10th, 1975. This will be 627, Vrindavan, September 10th, 1975.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sixth Canto, second chapter, verse number 7. Ayam hi krita nirvesho janma koti anghasam api yad vyajahara vivasho nama swasti ayanam hare ayam hi krita nirvesho ayam hi krita nirvesho janma kotyang hasamapi janma kotyang hasamapi yad vyajahara vivasho yad vyajahara vivasho nama swastyayanam hare ayam hi krita nirvesho janma kotyang hasamapi yad vyajahara vivasho nama swastyayanam hare
Ayam hi krita nidvesha janma kotyang hasamapi jad bhajahara vibhaso nama sastayanam hare. So, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, Vishnu Duta, declare that this man, although he was very sinful, but now he is cleared of all sinful acts. He is now clean. How he is clean? Jad Bhajahara, he has uttered the name of Narayana. Jad Bhajahara, Vivasa, not any artificial, but automatically. Vivasa. Nama, the holy name, Sasti Ayanam. To chant the holy name of the Lord means to achieve all auspicity. Hare. Now this name, Hare, sometimes the Mayavadis, they say that any name, either of Hari or any other demigod, is equal. No, that is not. That is Namapura. if one thinks that the holy name of Hari is as good as the name of other demigods, then it is Namapara. That is not Shuddha now. So, people are being misguided in that way. But the Shastra does not say that. The Shastra says, Hare Nama, Hare Nama. The holy name of Hari, Krishna, Vishnu, Vishnu Tattva. Hari means Vishnu Tattva. There are Tattva is manifested in different ways. Vishnu Tattva, Vishnu Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, like that. So Shastra says that Hare Nama, Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu, of course, Lord Vishnu has several thousands of names according to his different activities. Vishnu, Narayan, Hari, Govinda, Madhava, many names. So, any name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama. The Shastra reminding us 3 times, just like we stress upon something that do this, do this, do this, thrice. Therefore it is said 3 times, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, so that he may not forget, he may not be misguided by the so-called Mayavadis, that any name, no, Hare Nama, 3 times. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, eva, again eva. Then again 3 times. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasti, nasti eva, gatirannatha. You cannot deviate from this process. There is no other alternative process. You cannot say that I will be liberated by this process or that process. No. Because it is Kali Yuga. Any other process will not be successful. You adopt any process, ultimately you have to come to this process, Bhakti Yoga. You can work on Karma Yoga, you can work on Jnana Yoga, you can work on Hatha Yoga. There are different yogas. Yoga means how to connect with the Supreme. Yoga means connection. And Yoga means distraction. We know, anyone who knows mathematics, yoga means addition and subtraction, Yoga. So, at the present moment, in our conditional state, we are separated. Not exactly separated, but we are forgotten. We have forgotten our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, we have to connect it again. That is called yoga. Because we are now disconnected somehow or other, now we have to connect it again. So any yoga system means an endeavor to connect our relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is called yoga. So, someone is trying to make the connection, Karma Yoga, someone is trying by Jnana Yoga, someone is trying Hatha Yoga. But the real aim is Bhakti Yoga. Just like different steps. You are on the first step and other is on the second step. another is in the third step, another is in the fourth step, but the ultimate goal is Bhakti Yoga. You cannot understand God or Krishna by any other yoga. It may be a step forward, but ultimately you have to come to the Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, after many, many births, endeavor to execute the yoga system, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavan, one who is actually practicing Jnana Yoga or mystic yoga, he comes to the Bhakti Yoga. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Manga Prapaddate. Prapaddate. This is Bhakti Yoga. And still clearly explain what is that prapatti? Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlava. When one comes to this understanding that Vasudeva Krishna is everything, I surrender to Krishna. Krishna is canvassing personally. Krishna is so kind that Sarva dharman parittajya mamekam saranam. That we will not take. Krishna is claiming too much. But that is the ultimate goal, that you have to surrender to Krishna. That is the highest perfection. So this conclusion that let me surrender, Krishna is asking me, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate absolute truth, he is asking me to surrender. Why should I delay? Let me surrender. This is intelligence, jnana. So, those who are intelligent, they will take immediately. It is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Saddha Sabdhe Vishwas Sudhira Nishchay Krishne Bhakti Kaile Sarvo Karma Krita Hoy. This is the real Shraddha, faith. What is that faith? Saddha Sabdhe Vishwas. Faith means strong faith, not flickering faith. Vishwas, to believe. What is that? Vishwas, Saddha Sabdhe Vishwas Sudhira Nishchay. Very firm faith and with surety. Surety it must be. Because Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, says that you surrender unto me and I shall give you protection from all sinful years. He is assuring. Then why we shall doubt? Because we have doubt in Krishna. That is the difference. The Krishna says he may be or may not be doubt. That is called doubt. Krishna says in many places, asamsaya, don't doubt what I say, accept it. Manmana bhava mad bhakta madhyadi mang namaskuru mameva ishasi asamsaya. You do this and without any doubt, rest assured, you will come to me. In another place, Krishna says, Mayasakta mana prartha yogam junjana madasi. Asamsayam, again asamsayam. Asamsayam samagram mam jatha gesasi tatchinu. So it is our misfortune that we become doubtful about Krishna. This is our misfortune. Otherwise, to become liberated, to go back to home, back to Godhead, very easy thing, provided we accept the Krishna's version as it is, without any change. It is very easy. Krishna, when he comes, personally, he comes to bestow the mercy to the fallen souls. And he speaks very clearly that matta parataram nanyat kinchijasti dhananjaya. There is no more better, positive, truth than myself. But you don't believe. That is the misfortune. But this man, although he did not know what he is doing, but very faithfully he chanted devotion, devotion without any hesitation. Devotion. Devotion means being forced. He was forced to chant. So jena tena prakarena, if you chant without any committing any offense the holy name of the Lord, then you become devotee. This is the purpose of this Ajami Upakhyan. Ayam hi krita nidvesa. Nidvesa means atonement. If you commit some sin, then you should atone for it. Otherwise, you have to carry the reaction of your sinful life to the next life. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, there is prayaschitta. The prayaschitta, that is also a very heavy task. In this age, nobody can perform prayaschitta. And even one is able to perform prayaschitta, then there is possibility of again falling down, unless one is clear consciousness, and that Krishna consciousness. Unless one is Krishna conscious, there is every chance of falling down. So anyway, this Ajamin is Krita Nidvesa. The Vishnu Duta informed to the Jamaduta that you cannot touch him anymore. He is now pure. Krita Nidvesa. Krita Nidvesa. Then the next question is, the Jamaduta may say that how he has become Krita Nidvesa. He is so sinful that there is no limit of his sinful activities, and you say that it is clear immediately. Therefore he says, Janmakoti anghasamapi. Not only one life sinful activities, but many crores of birth sinful activities. So we do not know how many births we had previously. But from the Shastra we understand crores, many millions of times we had to take birth. Therefore it is used janmakoti. Not one birth or two births or second birth or third birth. So unless we come to Krishna consciousness, this repetition of birth and death will continue. That's what it says, janmakotyam. We are passing through many different forms of life. We are creating one family, that I belong to this family. But what about my other families? Because janmakoti, in every family when I enter, there must be father, mother and family members. To which family I am especially concerned, that is our ignorance. We become interested in the particular family where we are at present, but we do not know that in the past we had to pass through many hundreds and millions of families. So which family is correct? And again, if I do not correct myself at the present moment, I have to go through many millions of families until we come to the point, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma. This is it. So, this Vasudeva Sarvamiti we are distributing on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. People may take the Krishna consciousness movement means that we are preaching Vasudeva Sarvamiti, no compromise. Only Vasudeva, Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudeva. This is Krishna consciousness movement. If people can take it without any hesitation, as Krishna says, mas future, don't be worried. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekang saranang braja. Krishna says, and even out of sentiment, we take to Krishna consciousness, believing on the word of Krishna. Out of sentiment, still we are benefiting. Taktya sadanmam charanambujam hare. It is said that if by sentiment one takes to Krishna consciousness, taktya sadanmam, everyone has got his occupational duty. The Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or anyone, everyone has got some particular duty, obligation. But Krishna says there is no need of executing all these obligations. Simply surrender. Krishna says. So, if somebody out of sentiment, if one thinks that simply by surrendering to Krishna he will be perfect, why not take it? Let me give up my so-called religious principles. But that is called form in the Bhakti. Taktya sadharmam charanambujam hare. He giving up. Just like this European American boy, they belong to Jewish religion, they belong to Christian religion, but out of their pious activities or even by sentiment, they have given up. Now they are taken to Krishna consciousness. But they are perfect. You may say that some of them have fallen. The Shastra says that even one has fallen. Where is the wrong there? And other person who has not taken to Krishna consciousness, who has not fallen, what is the benefit there? Even one has not fallen, sticking to his own particular religious system, he is not gainer. But a person who has taken to Krishna consciousness even by sentiment and has fallen, he has great benefit. Because once he has taken to Krishna consciousness, Krishna becomes attached to him. That is our Abhyata Sukriti. Therefore, in all circumstances, we should accept the Krishna's instruction, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja, and surely we shall be benefited. So it doesn't matter whether he is advanced. Of course, everyone should try his best to advance more and more in Krishna consciousness. But even though one falls down circumstantially, Tattva sadharmam charanambujam hare patet tato jadi bhajan napakya. Bhajan means this execution of devotional service, gradually it should be strong and right. But if one falls down, even it is not right, bhajan apakya. The Shastra says, what is the wrong there? What is the loss there? Because he has begun this line of devotional service, even if he stopped at a certain point, circumstantially, he is not loser. He is not loser because he will get the opportunity of another human form of life. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Suchinang simatangehe yogam bhrashta sanjayate. Even one has fallen down, still he will get the chance of taking birth. Suchinang simatangehe. In the family of Brahmana, first class Brahmana, Suchinan, Suchi, very pure, or Srimata, or very rich man, rich Vaishya. Generally the Vaishyas are rich, so he will get chance either in a very good family of Brahmin or Vaishya. Vaishyas are generally devotees. Therefore, he gets the chance of taking birth in a nice family, and if he is fortunate or if he is guided, then he begins again Krishna consciousness from the point where he lost it. Therefore, he is not loser. Whereas others who are not in Krishna consciousness, he may be diverted, and there is no guarantee what is the next birth. Krishna does not guarantee. Krishna says, Takta deham punarjanma. Krishna says, Dehi nasmin yatha dehi kaumana jovana jara tatha dehantara prapti. Dehantara prapti, he will get another body. But what kind of body he is going to get, that is not certain. He may be a demigod or he may be a dog, according to his karma. But this man, who is a devotee of Krishna, if he is followed and if he has to take birth again, it is guaranteed. Suchinang simatangehi. He will take birth in a very rich family or in a very pure family. This is guaranteed. For others, there is no guarantee. He may take birth out of the 8,400,000 of different forms of life. There is no guarantee. So our request is that somehow or other take to Krishna consciousness. Even if you fall down without being ripe, still you are not loser. That is our request. Thank you very much. Hare.
Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashtatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So a wonderful class by Shri Prabhupada. Took some notes and so what was the class? What was the pastime that was being recited in this part of the Bhagavatam that Srila Prabhupada talked about. Yes, Prabhu? Ajamil's pastime, yes. And it's at the point where Ajamil is being dragged out from his material body. Through his subtle body, he's been dragged out by the Yamadutas. And as he calls out the name of his little son, Narayan, the Vishnu Dutas immediately appear and they stop the Yamadutas. So in this class, it took about maybe 7 themes that Prabhupada mentioned, maybe 6 themes, maybe there's more, but I only took 7. So first theme was chanting of the holy names. It says that even one who chants the holy names artificially gets purified by the holy name itself, the holy name of Hari. And he quoted a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela. Does anybody remember the verse? Kalo nasteva, 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 gatir anyatha. Yes, the only way in this age of Kali is through the purification of the soul through the name of calling out the name of Hari. And so therefore, even if it's out of sentiment, Prabhupada says, even if sentimentally somebody calls out the name of Hari, they can get the purification. That's why we go out on Harinam, on Saturday Harinam. How many of you went to Saturday Harinam? How was that? Great, huh? So this is why we give out this name of the Lord to all living entities. And one time there was a pastime, one New Year's Eve Harinam. We were going through central London. As we were passing through Piccadilly Circus, some members of the public joined us. And they were completely drunk. They were chanting away, they were drunk, but by the time they reached Soho Street, they were completely sober. And they were like, oh, how did we end up here? But they were still having fun, so they continued dancing with us. So you see, even the intoxicated, the most fallen, can actually come and become purified in that way with the names of Hari. And then that is called, what is that called in Sanskrit when the name is given to the most fallen, or what sort of a benefit do they get? Prabhupada mentioned it in his class. Say again? They definitely get a human body in the next life. It's called Agyata Sukriti. They get Agyata Sukriti so that they actually get that benefit in the next life. The next theme in this class was that the Lord is not equal to other demigods. Some people, Mayavadis and others, may divert our attention to thinking that Lord Vishnu, Krishna is similar to all the other demigods that are there, that we worship, which is a common misunderstanding. And so he's not, his name is not the same as other names that are being chanted like that. And then there's a third theme that Prabhupada mentioned. Yeah, Shraddha. Shraddha is one of the next theme or the fourth theme, but the third theme I noted was yoga, the yoga processes. So what is the topmost yoga process? Bhakti yoga. And what are the other preliminary yoga processes that Prabhupada mentioned in the class? Jnana. He also mentioned Hatha yoga, he mentioned Ashtanga yoga, different types of yoga systems that allows us to ultimately come to the platform of Bhakti yoga. And what is the difference between, yoga means to connect, and what does Viyoga mean? Distraction, yes, distract. Thank you, Sam Prabhu. And Srila Prabhupada quoted a Bhagavad Gita verse with this regard. Verse 719. Bahunam, yes. Janmananante Jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarmaniti sa mahatma sudurlabaha. And that's where he says, actually, when you come to that platform, what is the next obvious opportunity for us to? And he mentioned verse 1866. So again? Sarva dharman parityaga, or yeah. Mamekam sharanam raja. Okay. So surrender, sharanam. So next obvious step from that was to surrender without question, and we shouldn't have any fear, masuchaha, and we come to that platform. And as Bhai Prabhu mentioned, the next theme was Shraddha, faith. What did Prabhupada mention about faith? Anyone?
Should not have like a flickering faith, but
From
firm faith.
faith, yeah. And he also mentioned that the only way of liberation and returning back to Godhead is by chanting the holy names, but without offenses. Without offenses, yes. And in this age of Kali, the next theme, in this age of Kali, it is impossible to perform penance, yes, prayashchita, proper atonement, because in the previous ages, yes, they used to perform tapasya, penances, atonement for their sins to purify. We have to offenselessly chant, but when we create offenses, we can be purified. And chanting is a form of tapasya anyway. And so therefore, through that process, we're able to also atone. And there are other themes, and last theme that I also gathered from this was that this process is eternal. Eternal because it allows us to carry on for where we left off, and allows us to take birth where? How do we take birth? In a human, but Brahmana or Vaishya family, exactly, in an aristocratic family, and if we are reminded of that process, then we are able to pick up where we left off, if we are lucky. And then finally he mentioned the very famous verse about changing of the bodies from the Bhagavad Gita. Dehinasmin, yes, Venugopal Prabhu. So he says that as we change many, many bodies in many, many lifetimes, no matter where you are, you'll still continue where you've left off. So anybody else want to share some reflections from the class, what they thought about the class, what they got from the class? Those are just some of the points I mentioned. Yes, Prabhu. There's a mic. There's a mic, yeah. Because we have online listeners, so it's better for them to hear on the mic.
I was just thinking of this. Previously, recently I was reading this also. And this Vivasha Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in a helpless condition,
yes.
Srila Prabhupada said that he was forced to something like this. If maybe somebody can say something.
So he was forced in a way to chant the names properly. Yeah? Is that what you mean? Can you clarify your point a bit more?
I wasn't, I didn't understand it fully, so I was questioning also. I'm just thinking, because in the verse it said that, for in a helpless condition he chanted the holy name of Narayan, so that's why he has atoned not only for sins performed in one life, but those performed in millions of lives.
Yeah, so from this is the point of Agyata Sukriti. So he has Sukriti, but the Lord himself actually almost forcefully allows him to chant the name of Hari from within. And so therefore gives him the Sukriti to actually come to the platform. Because Ajamil previously was very pious. It was just a momentary lapse in his concentration that has led him to go down this path. Right. And so when the Lord sees that as a mercy towards him, kripa, he gives him kripa and says, okay, I'm going to help him and allow him to remember the name of Narayan. Ruben Prabhu?
I was just thinking that because he'd called his son Narayan, and now he was in difficulty, he's calling out Narayan's name. So he's practically forced in his desperate situation, but in that call to Narayan, he's getting freed of all his sins at the same time, because he had the piety to call his son Narayan. So like that. Just understand.
And that was the argument between the Vishnu Dutas and the Yamadutas, right? So Yamaduta says, well, no, he wasn't calling Narayan the Supreme Personality of God. He was just calling Narayan his son. But then the Vishnu Duta said, well, okay, who came first? Narayan the son or Narayan the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He named his son Narayan based on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because that was his name first, like that. So then, it is actually remembering Narayan, the Lord.
And the point is that it's so powerful, the holy name, that even if you're calling it without indicating the right person, it's purifying you.
Yeah.
So
hence the Harinam reference. Even if they're singing with us in a drunken stupor, they're still getting purification.
in fact, they get more benefit because they don't do it offensively.
Yeah. There's a point over here.
Thank you. I just was reminded, actually, by this question that in Sharanagati, I think that's Bhaktivedanta Thakur, or rather, it was just quoted by Sachinanda Maharaj, who has this book, and he says, one way of chanting, which is very beneficial, is to chant with like desperation, as if you're like in trouble, because sometimes we don't realize we're actually in trouble. Like this material reality doesn't seem so terrible, but actually it is quite terrible. And I remember, I think I saw this quote. Prabhupada says, if you don't develop this, what's the word he used? But basically, like, if you're not disgusted almost like by this material condition, then you haven't really properly developed the desire to go back to Krishna. Like you need to kind of don't want to be here. So I feel like that's where Ajamil, how do you say
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, like he was forced to be in that position. It was so apparent for him that he was in a troublesome condition. Luckily or unluckily, not for us, we don't sometimes realize that. I was really moved by the point that Prabhupada made about like Krishna is the only thing. That we're just, as a Krishna consciousness movement, that we're just about Krishna. It's not about other demigods. Like our focus is just on Krishna. And this morning, his Shikshamrita reading, he was pointing this out as well. He was saying, Krishna says so many times aham, amam, like in the Bhagavad Gita, that it's about like me. So that was just, it really stood out to me today. So that was nice.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's amazing how even when Krishna is imparting this beautiful knowledge to Arjuna, it's not when Arjuna and Krishna were relaxing back in Hastinapur or Dwarka or wherever. He didn't say, oh yeah, I've got something to tell you, when he's in a relaxed mode. No, he's in a completely distraught situation, really, really distressed, and that's when he's ready to actually accept the knowledge. And so similarly, we have to come to our position. You raise a very good point in that if we are distressed, if we are in a situation where we can easily and ready to accept the knowledge, then the teacher will appear like that. Yeah. Yes, Ruben Prabhu?
I was very much appreciating at the end of the lecture how Prabhupada is carefully explaining that that there's no loss or diminution on this path. And it's bringing to mind the point that for someone is describing someone who doesn't practice Krishna consciousness and they don't have a fall down. And then there's a person who's practicing Krishna consciousness and he falls down. He said, better be that devotee is practicing Krishna consciousness and falls down, because the one who's not practicing, he's not even guaranteed a human form of life. But he then assures us that, but the devotee, even if he falls down, in his next birth he'll be guaranteed an opportunity to have a human form of life and carry on his Krishna consciousness. So from the practitioner's point of view, it gives him hope when he's struggling. From the friends of that practitioner, it gives them hope because they may feel desperate at that time for their dear friend who's a devotee.
Yes.
And it's a very inspiring point in itself that from the point of someone who's preaching Krishna consciousness, that whatever little chance he gives to someone to enter Krishna consciousness, it won't be hopeless. It will be of great benefit to that person, and it will be great benefit for them for trying.
Very nice point. Thank you. Yes. Yes, our practice of Krishna consciousness is not futile. It is our Sanatana Dharma. And as we perform both our Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma, that is the one that goes with us, eternally beneficial, like that. Okay, I'm conscious of the time. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari. Purna Bhaktivedanta ki.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare